So a 702 journalist says that there were certain people who are from the Bishop Zondo camp who were sending out threats when they appeared at the court after the bishop had, you'll remember, had asked for some of his thingy to be dismissed. If you don't remember, when he recently went over to the court, accused Bishop Zondo fails to the latest bid to have charges against him dismissed. So you'll remember that. After that, it led to some of the followers, as it has been said in the video that I'm going to play you in a second, by a journalist from 702 to say, hey, I was being threatened by people who are staunch followers of the bishop.
Why are you threatening us? So the Pretoria High Court today dismissed an application by the Archbishop of the Rivers of Living Waters Church, Bishop Stephen Zondo, for a discharge. Zondo basically approached the court saying that the state has no case against him and the charges against him should be completely dropped. Now, you may remember from some of my other videos that Zondo is facing several counts of rape as well as sexual assault. He's been accused by members of his church or former members of his church, as well as staff that worked at his church. Now, of course, Zondo denies this, and his lawyers say that the only reason why these people are coming forward is because they know that the best way to destroy a man in South Africa is to accuse him of rape. Now, the court dismissed this, saying he indeed does have a case to answer to. In fact, we heard Judge Musupa today saying the complainants in this matter, the women that are accusing Zondo of rape, are actually credible. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because the supporters, the Archbishop Stephen Zondo, are threatening us as journalists, saying that we should watch our backs. I had a man today saying we shouldn't take pictures of him, otherwise we will see what will happen to us. Are you saying what are you guys saying? No one said Zondo did these crimes. Absolutely no one said Zondo is guilty of anything. We're just doing our job, and you're making it very difficult for us because you are being emotional about your leader. I believe in the court processes. If he's not guilty of these crimes, he will be acquitted and his name will be cleared. But what you're not going to do is keep us from doing our jobs because you're emotional about your church leader. It's one thing to want to support him. You're well within your rights. He's your pastor. You can support him at court. But it's a whole other thing when you want to threaten people and stop them from doing their jobs.
All right. So in her video, as you can see, she's clearly stating that these people coming off a little bit dodge, because in their following of the bishop, they don't want people. They forget that there is the journalist aspect of doing one's job, submitting the news as they are. I'm taking pictures because that's my job. Just the normal everyday thing. And because they support that person and they want it to be the only version that is out there. You see, I think this is a display of something. I think this displays for you the danger of taking away doctrine. I'm talking about biblical doctrine. This is the dangers of taking away biblical doctrine from people. What happens is that at the end of it, those people have nothing else to believe in except you. That's a very sad and a dangerous thing. And I can tell you why some of these people are starting to behave in this manner. If you read an article that comes from the Eyewitness News over here, let me pull it down, you will notice that the presiding judge in the case against the prominent Bishop Zondo believes evidence before him is credible and liable. That's an article from Eyewitness, and you can see as Khomotso wrote the article, right? And so these articles are sending shockwaves for these people who do not have doctrine to hold on to, but all they have is believing you. It creates a problem for them because now they don't know what they believe. You could put it like that, right? You can put it like that, is that they don't know what they ought to hold to when you're not there. These people are not founded as believers. They are not grounded in their faith independent of you. This is the danger. The danger is that people come to a position of feeling like the world is being swept out from beneath them. It's being taken from beneath them. They feel like, oh no, all the battles that they will go through in life, they cannot afford to go through them without you. When we teach people doctrine, we teach it in spite of us. It cannot be exegetical. It cannot be eisegetical. Eisegetical is that we take a situation and then we preach from that. And if you listen to a lot of the messages that Bishop Zondo has been preaching, it's been reflecting this case. It's been reflecting him going through what he's going through. It's very much victim mentality, around his messages. It's kind of like what's been happening. So because they are so dependent on him being the preacher, him being the message, they don't have a version where he is not in the picture. So as a result, what do they result to? This, Bazalani, is the reason why we ought to just preach doctrine. We preach doctrine not because we want to sound smarter. We want, no. It's that the people should be able to define their faith, their walk in each and every single day life, in spite of us being there. They should be able to interpret their faith outside of our involvement. We create chaos and a terrible state of faith when these people can only defend or speak of their faith because we are there. Your duty as a minister is to portray the message of the gospel as clear as it is, not to interfere in its depiction, not to twist it, turn it, favored to you, or you ought to portray it as clear as it stands. Otherwise, you create a problem because the people that hear you haven't been taught doctrine, so they haven't been taught independent faith. They haven't been taught faith that is without the minister or the person who speaks it. This is a clear example of the dangers of doing that. It's a danger of what happened. They become, because they only preach you. So now, when there is anything that threatens you being there, okay, we don't know what the judge is going to say. So now, when the reality sets back in, these people are now starting to realize, I don't have ground. So they behave like this. They throw in tantrums. Because why? They don't have ground. Their faith has no ground. The journalists are threatening their faith. Why? Because the Mandams don't have faith. The Mandams they are not grounded in faith. This is why, Bazalani, we preach doctrine. You don't create your own belief systems, what. We don't bring that, because now you who offers the salt are not there. Now what? Must they come to prison with water so they pay for the water? Just saying, do you get what I mean? This is why we preach doctrine, because doctrine is centered around him whom we have believed. It's not us. Him whom we have believed beyond our reach. That's why we preach doctrine, so that the people are founded. So now these people are finding out Mandams don't have ground. The Mandams don't know what they believe. So it creates a shaking in them that destabilizes how they define their faith and everyday walk. Spirituality Show with Daily Christian Commentary videos. Do not do a disservice to the people of preaching yourself as the center. This is very popular with people that preach deliverance and whatnot. It's because They become the center. Do not hinder the message. Remember, Jonah did that. Jonah felt to a point, wait a minute, how do these people define their faith without me? You wanted these feelings about the situation to be included. Nah, it don't work like that. You portray the message as clear as possible. You get out the way. You're not the center. Otherwise, you create this kind of an environment. Now, let's be very clear. Bishop does not have to encourage that or thingy, but because of the doctrine that he has taught these people, what happens is that they automatically go there. Their mind automatically goes there. Because it is void of doctrine that defines their faith. They were being taught, curses, we've shown that. They were being taught, all the sacrifices of cows and what, and all those things, all these things that the bishop teaches. None of them are in my head at the current moment. I'm just walking around with Bishop Zondo's doctrines in my head. Okay? And so, at the end of the day, because they do not have that ground, they don't have the center of what defines what they believe. So they feel threatened. And when they are threatened, they go out there talking what you're hearing us say. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we preach doctrine. Because when you get out of the picture, these people are in danger because they cannot define what they believe. It's Ricky. Y'all tell me your thoughts down in the comment section, and I'll see you on a later on video.